For those about to embark on the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship, there's just one common shared goal: winning a championship.
The quest to be Monster Energy Supercross champion is about to begin.
No participation trophies will be handed out. No ribbons for showing up. Championships aren't given. They're earned through years of sacrifice, forged from a young age, molded into those willing to dedicate their lives for a piece of glory.
And all these riders, they're battling so hard, they all know what's on the line.
For those hoping to capture a Monster Energy Supercross title, those dreams begin not on a whim, but as a lifestyle. They come from every corner of the globe. Their work is a testament to the strength of their desire. But no matter their background, each strives to brand a legacy, define a sport they love.
Let's drop the gate and go racing! Here's Canard! Oh! Barsha just gets ejected off of the 51. Here's Dungey! Could this be his night? Here he comes!
As Supercross's most anticipated season approaches, the brutality, adrenaline, and glamour morphing into one, 22 men, no matter their prior heritage, seek their greatest triumph. One will achieve it.
To be the best at the elite level, you have to work hard and take it serious. The multi-time champions were guys that eat, sleep, and breathe Supercross racing.
You push your body to the limit, and for me, when my legs are tired and my heart feels like it wants to give up, I just think about the championship. Something when my body's quitting, I'm just able to push through that and go that little bit extra.
When you go to Anaheim and that stadium's full and those lights go on and the opening ceremony starts and the fireworks and the music, to be able to come out and still be 100% as good as you can be is unbelievable. And a lot of guys can't do it. They do choke. The great ones feed off of it.
It's easy for people to say they can win, but if you haven't won, so you're just saying, I only know if you believe it.
Back in the day, I always said I want to be the best rider in the world, so I got to compete against the best rider in the world. Obviously, I don't have a 450 Supercross championship yet, but that's what I'm going for in 2016.
Ryan Dungey becomes the 2015 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Champion. What a race, huh?
To be the #1 guy right now in the sport is something we have all had to earn, and we don't get hired to go get 5th or 6th or 4th, let alone 2nd. We're hired to win.
For riders that have reached the pinnacle of the sport, it's these years of devotion that can make the difference between a champion and going home empty-handed. If the age-old moniker, "keep your friends close but your enemies closer," holds any connotation of truth, then riders of Monster Energy Supercross are all too familiar with the truth. Deep in the hills of Corona, California, the respective private Supercross test tracks for all 6 major manufacturers provide the testing ground, where riders take part in a grueling training regimen that rivals the most elite athletes in the world. It's here where the foundations of a season are laid out.
Think about all the practice laps, the miles, the weightlifting and sacrifice and everything that these young guys have gone through to prepare themselves.
Tensions are high this time of year as the anticipation toward Anaheim grows. The unknown is what drives them to pound lap after lap. It's what keeps the mechanics grinding well into the night. It's here where the foundations of a season are laid out. It's here where championships are won and lost.
I have a sort of a 5-word mantra that I live by. It's dream, desire, effort, dedication, and victory. And to me, that's the process of we're all these little kids riding dirt bikes and we have this dream of being a Supercross champion one day, but do you have the desire to do what it takes? And then you have to actually put out the effort with the training and the preparation and the racing, and then the dedication to stay with it. And if you do those 4 things, hopefully in the end you are victorious.
Here it is, the checkered flag!
I think it's just the relentlessness of it and that steady week after week doing your work, getting it done, and not letting things derail you that makes this Supercross Championship such a challenge.
As Monster Energy Supercross marches through 17 rounds over the months of January through May, it's the blood, sweat, and tears they've put in during the crucial months of the off-season that will keep them afloat.
Checkered flag! The crowd on its feet! John Reed wins Atlanta!
Each journey is different, each filled with its own set of challenges, yet each leads toward the same goal. For only those who are strong enough to endure the physical and mental anguish will vie for the crown.
You know, I think Supercross is probably one of the most challenging sports physically and mentally in the world. Each weekend you go to a different venue, a new track, different soil. The motorcycle, although you want it to work the same all the time, will not work the same every time because you're on different soil.
One of the hardest things for viewers watching on television who are new fans of the sport is knowing just how hard it is to do what they're doing. The best of the best in the world, they make it look so easy.
It's not just taking off on a jump, but they got to time the landing perfect to get into a gap, to do another 3, to do another 2. The slightest mistake it's catastrophic. And the stronger you are, and the stronger your base is, and your muscle structure, the less you get hurt, and you can get back up and you can race again next week.
You have to commit to a certain speed in the whoops, and if you go a little bit faster, it may not work. It probably won't work. To improve, you have to go a lot faster at once, and the same thing with the jumps. There's so much rhythm involved that I think that's one of the difficulties of Supercross.
22 riders will line every gate on machines that weigh in excess of 220 pounds, powerful as they are dangerous. And when the glitz and glamour begins to wind down, the explosive rush of 22 racers bar-banging over the course of an action-packed 20 laps takes its place as riders risk it all for the right to be called a champion. When we return, we'll meet the 2015 Monster Energy Supercross champion Ryan Dungey as he prepares to defend his title. And later, we see the return of James Stewart on the racetrack. All this and more as the 2016 Monster Energy Supercross preview show continues. The great Vince Lombardi once said, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing." For Red Bull KTM's Ryan Dungey, a blue-collar kid from the Midwest that relied more on work ethic than natural talent, his march toward the record books was instantaneous. A 6-win rookie season in 2010 culminated in Dungey's first title as he joined Jeremy McGrath as the only rookies to ever win a Premier Class title. But his rapid march slowly turned into a crawl over the next 4 years. 8 wins during that span led Dungey to question his program. Answers slowly began to emerge early in 2015 and peaked during an 8-win season and a second title.
Dungey has executed it perfectly, and he's got his first win of 2015!
Well done, buddy. Well done. Proud of you, buddy.
Now, the 26-year-old looks to build off a career season and become the first rider since Ryan Villapoto to repeat as champion.
I always wanted to back it up and do it again. You know, 2010 was special, but I knew that I needed to wrap up another Supercross championship.
Ryan Dungey becomes the 2015 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Champion for the second time.
And it was KTM's first 450 Supercross championship, and that was the big Mac Daddy of them all for them that they wanted. You know, that was the championship. That one moment, I mean, what it took to get to there, you know, you think back of all the sacrifices and everything you made. So it's really special and probably one of my favorite championships to win of all time. But to do it again, I think, is even harder because it takes more drive and more motivation, and it tests you a lot more than the first time because you've already done it, and now you gotta do it again.
For Ryan Dungey to win another Monster Energy Supercross championship certainly puts him in the conversation of some of the greatest champions that the sport has ever seen.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for Ryan Dungey and how he approaches each championship. To me, he's just humble, keeps his nose to the grind, and he just sticks to his program.
One thing that I believe Ryan Dungey has progressed through his career is he's gotten more aggressive. And the reason that I believe that he's more aggressive in 2015 leading into 2016 is that he has more confidence in himself.
Dungey gonna take him to the bar. Dungey comes flying up the inside. Dungey got awful aggressive there, Jeff. Great move.
He feels that his preparation is as good or better than anybody out there.
Ryan is that kind of guy that's never shied away from work. Going into 2016, I think we just want to build on where he was last year. You know, get the riding better, get him, you know, a little bit stronger, a little bit fitter. All those areas that can translate to his actual riding and make him a better rider, which will translate into a champion.
I could do all the work in the world, but if I didn't believe, then none of it matters. But we put in the work, put in the effort. You know, we're in it for the long run, and there's a lot more competition, more guys are getting better. It's getting harder and harder to stay on top. It's a challenge I look forward to.
Eldon Baker's training program holds the distinction as one of the most physically demanding in the sport, but it has a storied history of producing champions. After missing the 2014 season with a torn ACL, Marvin Musquin would join Ryan Dungey at Baker's Central Florida compound, a decision that paid immediate dividends, as Musquin won the 250 SX Eastern Regional Opener.
Marvin Musquin comes to Arlington and wins the season opener.
En route to a 6-win season and his first ever Eastern Regional 250 Supercross title.
Here he is, the 2015 Monster Energy AMA Supercross East Champion, Marvin Musquin. Finally, it's done.
In 2016, Musquin will embark on the next stage in his career, hoping to become just the third rookie in history to win a 450 title.
Moving up on the 450, my expectations are to learn, obviously, because it's going to be a different bike. I've always been riding a 250. I know it's going to be tough. There's a lot of good guys behind the gate, ready to battle really hard for that #1 spot. So I'm in the best team, Red Bull KTM. I'm going to be prepared. Working with Eldon Baker, it was a big change for me. I've learned a lot, especially in conditioning training. He's doing really good, and that's a big change for me, and I think it's important to have him with me. I know if I work hard, then I'd be maybe winning races, and that's the goal from Red Bull KTM and myself.
He's a rookie, he's got to learn a lot, he's got to learn the patience. 450 is a whole different ball game. I think he's going to ride it well, he's going to be really good, he's very talented, he has all the ingredients. But it's keeping that control that he doesn't get ahead of himself. And he also, no matter how much you tell a guy how long the season is, and 17 races in Supercross, they still never understand it until you're down the line, which is probably a good thing.
With the preparation we're going to do and being on Eldon's program, seeing what he did last year, I think he's got a lot of confidence. I think he's going to do a good job, and just a matter of mentally getting through that first year strong and solid and healthy. But I think he'll be on the podiums for sure.
If one day I win the Supercross Championship on the 450, that would be the ultimate goal and the top. So I'm really focused on the Supercross right now and winning that championship one day. So that would be the top. Like you can't do better than that.
Many questioned Jason Anderson's move to work with Baker in 2015, thinking the New Mexico native's laid-back personality wouldn't mix with the high intensity of Baker's program.
What I really like about Jason is, with areas that he's struggling in, he doesn't steer away from. Like, he's really keen to work on that.
For him to be there and be like, okay, just keep going, just believe in the program and everything, and then when you see those results come after struggling a little bit, it's really cool.
Fantastic athlete in the way that he has ingredients and how he is methodical on what he works on. That's a huge positive that he has.
Obviously, everyone knows him as having a strict program and everything, so it's kind of intimidating. You know, you come here and you expect to be, you know, just it's gnarly. You know, you want to get ready, and he knows how to, but it's not always fun. But you know, we try and keep it light. I basically came here just to try and elevate my career to the next level.
But the 2014 Western Regional 250 Supercross champion immediately found success under Baker's guidance, finishing runner-up to Ken Roczen in his first ever 450 race a season ago in Anaheim, announcing himself on the world stage. Anderson finished the season 7th in points, and this offseason he signed an extension with Rockstar Energy drink Husqvarna through the 2018 season, keeping with the only team he's ever ridden for. He enters 2016, hoping to take the next step and contend for a championship. If there was a constant adversary to Marvin Musquin in 2015, it was Geico Honda's Justin Boland, who pushed the Frenchman throughout the Eastern Regional 250 Supercross title chase, finishing off the podium just once. Although he fell short in his title defense, the 2014 Eastern Regional 250 Supercross champion re-signed with Geico Honda this offseason and will move to the 450 class with the team, filling the shoes of 2015 450 Supercross runner-up Eli Tomac.
Moving up to the 450 class is exciting. Obviously that's the pinnacle, that's what we all strive for. So coming in with the same team, same mechanics, same everything that I've had, more support from Honda, the whole Geico team intact. Very excited about it, feeling very good on the 450, enjoying it a lot. Supercross is my favorite thing in the world by far, so looking forward to getting the season started. I guess just to prepare for the 450 season, it's double the races that I'm accustomed to the last few years. It's stiffer competition, it's the best guys in the world. Big goal is staying healthy for 17 rounds and making the most out of my time and trying to progress as much as possible. Right now, just building, trying to keep stacking fitness and speed as we go and be ready for Supercross once it comes in Anaheim.
Coming up next, we take an inside look at 3 of the most talented riders in the sport. Eli Tomac embarks on a new journey with Kawasaki, while Ken Roczen focuses on rebounding from a 2015 turbulent season. And Trey Canard will once again be gunning for that elusive championship title. From 2007 through 2014, Monster Energy Kawasaki won 5 Premier Class titles, cementing their status as the top team in the sport. Number 1 plates align their Southern California headquarters, a persistent reminder to their newest recruit of the expectations he's being asked to uphold.
You're going to see many different color. I mean, you see it on me right now. I made the move to Monster Energy Kawasaki, as everyone knows by now. For me, it's exciting. It's a premier factory 450 team. For me, I believe I have more potential in the Kawasaki chassis right now. That's the biggest part, and I believe in the team, and I believe in their whole program. We have all the seasoned guys at Kawasaki that have won plenty of championships, so I can't ask for a better team. I walked in the shop for the first time the other day, and you see all the number 1s on the wall, and it's pretty serious business. It's awesome, it's extra confidence. Like, these guys are here to do it, and they can win, and now it's all up on to me.
Changing manufacturers can be a complex transition in Supercross, as riders have to adjust to new engines, chassis, and the overall feel of the bike. It's further compounded when you're forced to play catch-up, as Eli Tomac returns from the most paramount injury of his career.
I am coming off of a big injury. It was serious. I mean, a torn rotator cuff is almost the equivalent to tearing your ACL in your knee. It's at least 5 months, off the motorcycle, and that's what it's been so far. I've never had an injury that significant in my career, where I've had months off. I've had, maybe a month off of the collarbone before, but this was serious, and it was different for sure. I did get the go-ahead the other day to get back on the motorcycle, but I feel like I'll be able to get back to that 100% by now. Maybe not totally there, but close enough. So I think I'll be at a comfortable pace by then.
It would take Eli Tomac's predecessor at Monster Energy Kawasaki, Ryan Villapoto, until his third season to clinch his first of 4 Premier Class titles. This season, Tomac will hope to carve out a similar path as he enters year number 3 in the Premier Class.
Being that it's my 3rd year, in the 450 class, it's crunch time for me. I got the 2nd place last year, so there's only 1 spot left, and that's the championship. So it's serious business.
Here he comes, Ken Roczen to the finish line. He wins the season opener here at Angel Stadium of Anaheim.
Possessed with the kind of natural talent that has drawn comparisons to that of Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart, Ken Roczen began the 2015 by winning 2 of the first 3 rounds, taking control of the 450 championship.
Here he comes, winning 2 in Anaheim so far in 2015, Ken Roczen.
Ken Roczen turned some heads, came out strong, winning the opener at Anaheim for the 2nd time.
He was the guy to beat, those first 2 rounds. And man, he was almost in the same position as me where we both won a round or 2, and then we had that big mistake.
I was just really prepared and almost too prepared for that time of the year because it was very early, obviously.
But his steadfast start began to slowly unravel at round 4 in Oakland when Roczen came up short on a triple.
Roczen's pretty fast right here to the inside. Close lead, then makes a big mistake. He looked back to see what happened to Reed, and Roczen is down and not feeling good. Roczen had a hard hit, and the championship points leader is in a bad way.
A month later, he lost control of his motorcycle in qualifying, colliding with the protected stadium barrier inside the Georgia Dome. Subsequent injuries would force him to pull out of the series 2 rounds later.
The 4th round at Oakland is really, I think, where it went. It took a turn for the worse for Ken.
There were definitely big hits that I had in Oakland and Atlanta. Any injury comes at the wrong time, so that's for sure part of the deal, part of us riding our dirt bikes, and we just got to deal with it and learn from it.
He's lucky he didn't hurt himself any more than he did. In my opinion, I think he was never really able to rebound to where he was going into Oakland after his mistake there.
Sometimes your biggest disappointments can make you stronger. And after a turbulent first season with RCH Suzuki, Ken Roczen enters year 2 looking to regain his position in the hierarchy of Supercross.
Obviously, I don't have a 450 Supercross championship yet. It's definitely on the top of my wish list, and that's what I'm going for in 2016.
Ken, he's a young kid. He's coming up and proven to be stronger each and every year.
He's one of the most talented guys out there right now, so can't ever count anyone like him out.
Ken deals with the pressure great. Actually, I think he kind of feeds off the pressure quite a bit. I've yet to see him crack. I've yet to see him waver from the pressure, and he's one of those guys that feeds off of it.
We look for big things for him, and I know Ken Roczen looks for big things from himself, and he's not going to be happy with anything less than a championship.
That first time he gets up there and sees that, okay, I belong here, that's usually for a lot of guys what makes that last piece click.
Canard, he may be unstoppable right now.
Trey Canard was experiencing a career year in 2015 as he entered the Detroit Supercross firmly entrenched in 2nd in points.
It was awesome. I'd won a couple races and, barring some bad starts, really there was not a lot of setbacks.
Problems here. A couple of riders down. One of them is Jake Weimer. The other is Trey Canard.
But following a crash in the semi-race where he landed on Jake Weimer, Canard would see another season vanish due to injury, an all too familiar ending.
Really, I've got to just think back to the good races and...
Checkered flag! Trey Canard is a winner once again in Monster Energy Supercross.
I've just got to try to think back to those times.
Trey Canard wins the first one here at Petco Park in San Diego.
I just want to focus on myself and try to control what I can control, which is my effort, doing my best.
and making sure that every time I'm on the track, I'm at my best. Hopefully I can build off that and go into next year and do well.
Trey Canard is loyal to his own desires. Despite missing 35 races due to injury since 2011, those desires still remain ingrained in capturing a Supercross championship.
He has such a desire to be out there and winning, and he doesn't let anything stop him.
It's just a passion. I've got to chase it, I've got to do my best and make sure I leave no stone unturned and give it my all. And there's something still deep inside of me that wants to push more and more. And I believe, I have a deeper purpose in this all, and I want to make sure that the world sees that, and I want to go do the best with what I've got.
Up next, Joe Gibbs has found success in every aspect of his career. Will this finally be the year JGRMX claims a Monster Energy Supercross championship? Justin Barcia is the key piece to the puzzle. Meanwhile, Davey Millsaps hopes new beginnings with BTOsports.com KTM marks a return to the front. Joe Gibbs is used to winning. First as a Hall of Fame head coach of the Washington Redskins, and then a NASCAR team owner. But since forming JGRMX in 2008, Joe, alongside son Coy, has yet to produce a championship. The team has entrusted their future in the hands of Justin Barcia, signing him through the 2018 season with the hope that two-time 250 Supercross champion can bring them a title.
I think that's what we're kind of all about as a family, and Coy and JD and all of us. Our whole family is kind of about competing and trying to beat somebody. So whether it's a car or a football game, or now we're excited about Supercross.
To come to Gibbs, it's a little different than the factory teams. It's more like, as I like to put it, family kind of. Just a lot more homey atmosphere, and everyone's friends and stuff like that. But there's a main goal working for this company, and that's to win. We have the Super Bowl championships, we have the NASCAR championships, and then for me, getting hired was to bring the Supercross championship.
I think for us, he fits. And that's really important for us.
For me, I just know that I put in the hard work and stuff to know that I'm one of the best riders, and for them to want to hire me and keep me for multiple years. It's not really pressure. It's just I know it's my job, and I know their goal is to win, and that's my goal.
Justin getting hurt at the beginning of Supercross was really was a bad timing. I feel, because I think he was just getting ready to turn the corner. Justin Barcia was definitely really down in that part last year when he couldn't race. Once he started riding, the smile came on, and he was a whole different guy.
My 2015 Supercross season was challenging, getting used to the new bike in the beginning of the year, and then having a bad practice crash during the season and breaking my pelvis sucked, and then came back and raced a few races at the end, and I was just never fully ready to fight for wins and stuff like that. It was unfortunate we couldn't do it the first year, but we have a few more years to accomplish that, so I think everyone's confident that we can do it.
I think Justin is somebody that we think has a chance to win this championship.
I think I'm going to get him there by keeping a little bit of that Bam Bam flavor.
Oh, fighting for traction. Who's going to get to the line? It's going to be Barcia. Barcia's going to be able to hold it. Barcia with a great drive. Bam Bam is back.
And also putting a little bit of consistency and smoothness to his riding, and making him be the champion that he's supposed to be and believe it 100%.
Oh, I don't think there's any words on how bad I want this title. I've kind of won everything that I've wanted to win in the past, and this is the next thing I want to accomplish, and there's no words to put to it.
It's tough. I mean, you look at the veteran guys, the ones that have been doing it for a long time, and out of this next crop, one of them's going to pop up and become the dominant one that consistently wins. And that's what we're hoping for Justin.
I've been working harder than ever, and I definitely, for me, it's time to go and time to show if I can do it or not.
Injuries are an unfortunate byproduct of the risks racers are willing to take. In 2015, Cole Seeley was the only rookie to win a 450 race when he won in Houston.
Cole Seeley wins his first ever Monster Energy Supercross, and he does it in Houston.
He would finish third in points and capture 450 Supercross Rookie of the Year honors, but this offseason was forced to undergo surgery to repair a right shoulder. leaving him just 2 months to prepare for his second season in the Premier class.
It's a little different for me this year because I've never really came back from an injury like this. I've been off the bike now for 3 months and just about to start, getting into the swing of things and getting myself prepared. And, it's definitely tough, but a rider like myself, I've really used my natural talent more than anything, and I'm really like a fire-driven kind of rider. Like when I'm off the bike this long, that's all I think about is riding. And I think when I use that and I'm that hungry and have that much fire in me going into Anaheim, I think it's actually going to help me a lot. I just want to take everything that I learned last year and last season and apply it to next year. And I don't see why I can't, continue to run races, continue to be on the podium, and hopefully be a title threat. It was a great year for me since 2015, and yeah, I just want to apply what I learned and bring it next year.
By now, Davey Millsaps has grown accustomed to starting over. In 2016, he transitions to his third team in as many years. And while injuries have told most of the story for the two-time Monster Energy Supercross runner-up in recent years, a new environment could spark a return to the top.
I mean, I just feel like it's very laid back, it's very calm. They are willing to work with me on whatever I want. They don't say no. At the end of the day, it's everyone is on the team because they want to win. They want to do the best. It's just a good environment to be under. And when you're happy and you're having fun, winning comes next.
At 27 years old, Millsaps is far from the most senior rider in the field. And although he turned pro more than a decade ago, the fire that was first lit back in 2004 still remains.
I just want to go out and do the best I can. I still feel like I have a lot more years under my belt. If I stay consistent and stay motivated and keep training and keep riding, get stronger and get faster, I feel like 2016 can be a really good year for me. I honestly believe I'm just as fast as any of them out there. We've all beaten each other. I think it's going to come down to the last race next year, and I'm going to do everything in my power, and my team is also, to make it happen for us.
Since forming his own team, 22 Motorsports in 2011, two-time Monster Energy AMA Supercross champion Chad Reed has called the shots. It's a right he earned through 45 Monster Energy Supercross wins, putting him fourth all time, just 3 behind an old rival, Ricky Carmichael. But for the first time in 5 years, Reed will have to adjust to change. After pouring blood, sweat, and his own money into his team, Reed pulled the plug on 22 Motorsports this offseason. He enters 2016 no longer tied to dual roles, rider and owner. He now can focus on just one task, returning to past glory. When the 2016 Monster Energy Supercross preview show returns, we take a behind-the-scenes look at Yoshimura Suzuki's James Stewart's first race back from suspension. Also, highlights from the Monster Energy Cup, which witnessed a first-time winner. Since making his 450 Supercross debut, James Stewart has been a central figure in the sport. First, with unrestrained speed that often went unmatched, and then with the invention of the Bubba Scrub. Over the course of a decade, he has established himself as a dominant force in the sport, winning 2 Supercross titles and amassing 50 Supercross wins.
Checkered flag, James Stewart! There he is, career win 48, James Stewart, career win number 49! He is now second, all by himself, on the all-time win list.
Ranking second behind only Jeremy McGrath. But for the rider once referred to as the fastest man on the planet, his unbridled speed has often been his undoing, as he's failed to win a title since 2009. James Stewart last savored victory in March of 2014.
Stewart can move into second of the points as he wins here tonight in St. Louis.
On that night, he became just the second racer ever to eclipse the 50-win mark, and the first rider to win at least one main event in 10 consecutive seasons. A streak unwillingly cut off the following year.
reality is we get up and work for one thing, and that's to win races. And you know, when you get up and you look around, you're not working for that one thing. It's hard to chase something that you know is not there at this point.
We got through the Supercross season in 14, and we had a great year. We reeled off 5 wins, and I was in a debrief that next Monday back at the office, a team debrief, and I got a phone call from someone saying that they heard that James had tested positive for a banned substance at the Seattle Supercross. They knew every single fact, what event it was, what happened, what it was tested for, and I'm on the phone going, what? I absolute disbelief. Turns out that this person that called me, every single thing they said was absolutely true.
In December of 2014, less than a month prior to the start of the 2015 Supercross season, the Federation of International Motorcycling, also known as the FIM, announced a 16-month retroactive suspension for Stewart. Suddenly, the prospect of not doing the only thing he's ever known became a stark reality.
This last year, it matures a lot of people. You know, when I wanted to scream at the world when all this stuff happened, but I realized that it wasn't gonna work. You know, there was nothing I really can do. So you really figure out yourself how to deal with that and learn to say, you know, I'm gonna take this as a positive.
He kind of grew with it a little bit. All those nagging injuries he's had for 12 years, you know, the knees and the ankles, all that was able to heal a little bit. He was able to step away from the sport and kind of enjoy himself a little bit more and not be just James Stewart all the time, and I think that helped him a lot.
When you do it your whole life, you know one thing, and that's winning. And you know, like I said, when it's taken away from you, you have to learn something else. And I think for me, I've just kind of learned to, you know, really take the good with the bad. I think I'll be pretty good, you know, when it comes down to it and it's time to go racing.
The Monster Energy Cup, a once-a-year, invite-only all-star race in Las Vegas, Nevada in October, would mark the first race back for Stewart in more than a year. But whether it was due to the nerves of his highly anticipated return or the rust of being off for a year, Stewart wasn't his usual self, qualifying just 6th overall for that night's main events.
I just can't go fast because I can't turn the motorcycle. We're off the track.
This is what we got to stop with it. We got to stop working on your body like this. This is what we got to stop. A lot of people expect them to go out and win and all that stuff. All I told him is go out, come out here and get some seat time, and let's, you know, we've been off for years. Years a long time. A couple of the clicks on the bike and stuff, they'll be right there. I'm a truthful guy. I tell him, you know, hey man, you suck. No, you're the greatest. You know, that's just how I put it.
Every racer has a pre-race ritual. It could be as rudimentary as putting socks on a certain way, or as labor-intensive as riding a stationary bike. It's a chance to play out the race, honing in on the challenges that lie ahead. And as the sun went down over Sam Boyd Stadium, Stewart could be found in his, listening, visualizing.
Talking to James earlier today at Track Walk, he said, you know, the bike is probably better prepared than I am right now because I need to get myself not just physically but mentally ready for racing, get into the pace of the race. The first gate drop of the night, the Monster Energy Cup. Here we go.
12-foot drop down to 33-degree decline.
Remember, you have to sweep all 3 mains if you want the million. Trey Canard so close last year, he's back into the early lead here tonight.
Wow, Trey Canard, yellow gear, red Honda.
Oh, down goes Canard, and he can't get going. And if he wants a shot at the million, you have to win main number 1, and another rider goes down right into him, and that's Stewart.
Stewart, after a bad start, he slides into him,
and he can't get up.
While on the track, Ken Roczen was celebrating his first main event win of the night. James Stewart was back in the pits, contemplating if a return for main event number 2 was possible.
I didn't see what happened. You just tip over, or what happened?
Well, Canard was down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got rear sit and I didn't.
You didn't see him?
I didn't see him, and by the time I saw him, it was too late. I just slid. I got stuck.
So you just slid, nothing, no high impact stuff or anything?
Nah, I hurt my wrist.
On the track, you should have saw how wet the track was on the parade lap, first lap like that. Done. Just come in there too fast and, you know, wash the front end and off camera stuck under the bike. Terrible. It's frustrating for me because all the hard work that we put in and, you know, lose a race like that. You know, didn't have the greatest start, so I mean, you definitely can't fall like that, so it makes it tough.
You're going to send it and we learn what's going on and get some data from it, that would be great. But if you're not going to send it and really ride, and you're going to hurt yourself potentially, let's not bother. I know it's gutting, but we're behind you, James, either way.
I know, I hate it. I'll regroup at the beginning of the week and we'll make a plan. Okay? I'm sorry, guys.
That's the issue. I mean, he would go out there, but with no grip strength, if he cases it again, his hand comes off, I lose him for a season. So that's I just have to make the call. It's like, no, it's, you know, if I look him tell him to look me in the eye and say you can hold on, and he can't, then I know I have to pull the plug. So we'll get better. We'll keep working, you know, and we'll be ready for January.
When we return, on the track, Ken Roczen tries to fend off Jason Anderson, Ryan Dungey, Trey Canard, Justin Barcia, and others to wrap up his first Monster Energy Cup title. A Supercross championship is not built on impulse. It comes from a deep-rooted desire to conquer that which many aren't bold enough to try. As Ken Roczen crossed the finish line in the final Premier Class main event, capturing his first ever Monster Energy Cup over Ryan Dungey, all the problems that seemed to surface over the past year vanished. The race may not count toward any championships or title chases, but winning, no matter the race or level, brings forth a certain confidence that can quickly suppress past complications and produce superiority. Veterans James Stewart and Chad Reed, two of the most polarizing figures of the sport, are faced with a different kind of challenge. Not just from Ken Roczen, Justin Barcia, Ryan Dungey, Eli Tomac, and Trey Canard, but a not-so-transparent figure, Father Time, as no rider over the age of 30 has ever won a Premier Class title. Meanwhile, Jason Anderson and Cole Seeley are only beginning careers they hope will mirror the distinguished ones James Stewart and Chad Reed have shaped over the last decade. Entering year 2, expectations once tempered are now unimpeded. For the second time in his career, Ryan Dungey will be marked with the Crimson Bullseye, a sign of supremacy, but one that everyone sets their sights on. Challengers will surely come, one after another, each looking to shape their own destiny. New stars and old ones will want to leave their mark. Will a new champion emerge? Can a class of veterans make one last push? Or will a young star form a new trajectory? Who will draw first blood at the season opener at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California on January 9th?